Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen. And Coach, rough one up in Newark. The Tigers lose 13-12 in overtime to the Blue Hens. And the one stat that kind of sticks out to me is you scored 7 goals in the first quarter, but then only 5 the rest of the game. Was there an adjustment that Delaware made, or did things just start going wrong offensively? I'm too stupid to figure it out, but what was the difference in that first quarter and the last 3 quarters?
We definitely came out, firing and flying high in that first quarter, and the ball was spinning, and we were able to get it through X and get to the backside, get some nice step downs. Our guys made some nice plays there, and we shot the ball really well. We put the ball in good spots. I think that was definitely part of our slowdown in quarters 2, 3, and 4 is that we didn't shoot the ball as well in those quarters, and we had good shots. We had good, good opportunities and good spots to shoot. We just didn't put the ball in places like we did in the first quarter. Delaware definitely adjusted. I mean, they were throwing a few different defenses at us. We had to shift a little bit, had to change, and we didn't quite have that rhythm that we had in that first quarter. So that's, the game definitely settled in the second quarter and on from there. So, I think that was just kind of how the game unfolded. But I felt like our lack of scoring was more impatience on the offensive end and just quality of shooting overall. We definitely rushed some opportunities, especially in that third quarter.
The other change that Delaware made was they made a change at face-off late in the game, and Hervada had a lot of success against Santora in that fourth quarter. Was it just the fact that he's a different style than the first face-off man, who's Hagenberry? I'm forgetting his name now. I apologize. But is there a different in the styles of the two face-off men?
Yeah, I'd say Hervada he's a more seasoned guy. He's been there and he's been through it. He isn't as quite up to 100%. You saw he had a knee brace and stuff on, but he's still strong with his hands and a little bit more of a physical presence against Shane. Shane still had opportunities, within it. We just couldn't control the ball out, and they double pulled as well on the wings, which made it a little bit tougher for our guys, where I thought we had really good wing play, especially in that kind of first half, and then we weren't able to earn the ball our way. Even when, Mo wins that ground ball in the fourth quarter and he's coming down, and, right before he got into the box, and I was, I'm calling for a timeout even before he's in there, just so when he does step it in, we're getting it. And, they checked the ball out of his stick right before he got into the box. So, but, we, a few times, both, against them and against us, either team would win the face-off and then at times kind of turn it over quickly. So it's a little bit of misnomer in that regard at times. But Hervada definitely came in and gave him some good experience face-offs at the end of the game.
All right. Well, the one thing is you get to face them again, and you get a chance for revenge later on. This week, you step out of conference for the final time this year when you take on the Greyhounds of Loyola. The team now 3 weeks in a row has had a lead going into the fourth quarter and hasn't been able to hang on. What do you do to keep spirits high, or do you not have to do anything because spirits are high?
No, the guys are, obviously the guys are frustrated. We're frustrated as a whole in regards to being able to, our biggest focus is being able to play a complete game. That's where I feel like we've, faltered recently. And, it wasn't just the fourth quarter against Delaware. There was definitely points within the game, where we wouldn't just have one mistake and then 8 minutes later have another mistake. We'd have, maybe 3 possessions in a row offensively where, we're rushing possessions, first dodge shot possessions, things like that. So, for us, it's promising because these are things that we can obviously continue to address and look to correct. So being able to be more cognizant of what the possession needs to look like, how defensively we need to continue to play at a higher level, but overall for a team, that's our challenge is to play at a high level for a complete game and not have long stretches where we're not playing well either offensively or defensively, a little bit of both, because then you end up digging yourself a hole or allow a team to catch back up. We gotta build more of that killer instinct and be able to, if we do build a lead, to keep that lead and to not allow teams to go on runs. If a team gets 1 or 2 goals, we gotta get the next goal. We gotta be able to stop that momentum and bring it back our way. So, it's the guys are, today's Monday and had a good film review. The guys were up tempo in practice and understanding, this is 100% in our hands. And, there was no bad body language, no sulking at all. The guys came out aggressive and working hard to continue to improve.
All right, when you look at Loyola, they're coming off a game where they had 24 goals against Bucknell, most they've scored since 1997, and starts with Kevin Lindley. I mean, the guy's averaging almost 4 goals a game, 22 goals in 6 games. And then, you got Aiden Olmstead, he's averaging a hat trick in assists. Obviously, those are the 2 guys that make that offensive machine run.
Yeah, Lindley is fantastic. He's been hurting us ever since he stepped foot on Loyola's campus.
It's about 9 years ago, right?
Yeah, it may be even back, when we beat them in 2019, I think he still had like 7 goals or something like that. I mean, he's a terrific player. I love his game. Impressive there. And obviously him and Aiden being more of the primary ball handler and Lindley being, can play with the ball or, definitely a very, very much a problem without the ball. Those guys work very well together and, they got good talent all over on their offense. So, you got to be able to pay attention to all of them, but those guys are seasoned guys and veteran guys that they look to lead the team. So, there's no doubt we got to pay real close attention to them. And Aiden's, shown more explosiveness this year and being very fast off of his dodges, probably more so than we've seen to this point. So he's going to pose a good challenge for us.
They have maybe the greatest player in the country in Pat Spencer, who is now gone. How have they adjusted to that?
They just, obviously they keep playing the way they want, and they have guys that step up every year just like we do. So you gotta, a Pat Spencer comes by, comes around, every so often, and it's not that often. So you still gotta be true to who you are as a program and play to who you have personnel wise. So again, they've looked to Lindley to be more of a leader and more of a presence there than what he had to be when Pat was there, and he stepped up to the challenge. Same thing with Aiden Olmstead and being able to take more on his plate. And you're not looking to. I'm not saying either of those guys are Pat Spencer, from what Pat Spencer did, but they're still pumping in points and doing what they need to do offensively to score goals. So it's as far as change or anything like that, it's just trusting in your recruits and those guys working hard for when the opportunity comes to produce. Just like we do with our guys, and you graduate guys. That's more opportunity for that next wave coming up through.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. And next week, hopefully we're talking about a win against a top 15 team.